The Second Amendment is one of the 10 amendments written in the Bill of Rights during the establishment of this country. It was written shortly after we declared independence and won our independence from Great Britain. The Second Amendment states that a well-guarded militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. In today's society, the Second Amendment is described as the protection of any individual's right to bear arms. Despite the fact that this amendment was aimed at protecting a militia and allowing them to own and use guns to protect the citizens of the United States, it has grown into an all-inclusive right. Many people fight this amendment to try and have it changed or removed, but it being one of the original amendments bars it from being changed or removed. States and politicians push regulations and limitations onto guns and ammunition. For instance, there's a 10% tax on guns and ammunition. They only see the bad parts about guns and not the good they do. Last year, there were 467,321 crimes that were committed with guns, but more than double and triple that were stopped with them. While the Second Amendment is meant for giving the right to own guns, the amendment gives the right for people to hunt and protect themselves. Hunting rifles and other guns used for hunting are used by the 10 million hunters that use firearms in the United States. Some of these hunters use these firearms to gather food for their families. Hunting is also great for the population control of animals in our country. Over the past 50 years, gun owners are responsible for more than $2 billion in wildlife conservation. Hunters keep the population from getting too high or a specific animal, like a coyote, from dropping the population of deer. Other hunters use these firearms to enjoy their right to hunt and own guns. Without the right to bear arms, hunters would be unable to hunt with guns, which is the easiest method of gathering food when it comes to animals. 55 million citizens in the United States own guns that total up to 265 million firearms. Some of these guns are used for hunting, but most are used for protection, such as protection against burglary. Burglary is the most common form of necessary protection against. Many people own firearms to protect their families. A lot of people argue that we do not need to own guns because that's what the police are for. While the police are hired to protect our rights, liberties, and lives, they are not always available to protect us individually. There are approximately 697,195 police officers today. The average with the number of police officers compared to our population of 328 million, this means that the police officers can protect a little under 1% of the total population in this country. The average response time for a police officer is 10 minutes, and a lot can happen within this time frame. Inevitably, we are each responsible for our own safety. Nearly $2.5 million crimes are stopped by guns every year, some of which the gun is never fired. The Second Amendment covers all types of guns, ranging from your standard and basic handgun all the way up to a cannon. Although the Second Amendment covers these weapons, there are still regulations and limitations that come with them. There are 11 types of gun licenses and 5 types of gun permits. Within these regulations and limitations, citizens can own guns without violating them. Many regulations have failed due to being unconstitutional. All regulations made by the states must be fair and allow citizens to own guns. Guns have been a part of our country's history since the Revolution, and even though technology has changed, we should still have the same rights as we did when this technology did not exist. You can buy a gun from anyone who has the license to deal guns, but you still need the correct documentation. While it may not seem like it, there are many steps you must take when buying and carrying a gun. You cannot buy a gun out of state. You must be 21 years of age to buy a gun. You must pass a background check, and you must be fingerprinted to be put on file. While guns are still bought and sold without these regulations, they make it a legal and safe process to ensure everyone around them is safe. The Second Amendment is the most controversial topic in today's society, mainly because of the violence that goes along with them. School shootings, shootings outside of schools, and regular gun violence makes people think that all guns are bad, which is wrong. People may think that banning guns will help, but in reality, it won't. It has been proven that if someone wants a gun, someone will get a gun. The Second Amendment has been part of our country since the beginning and is engraved in it. Before you let someone convince you that guns are horrible and should be banned, remember that guns don't kill people, people kill people. And if you ban guns, people will still kill people. The resources I used include the Constitution Center, the Virginia Gazette, the Washington Post, NRA, and America's First Freedom.